beginning. This is a new beginning. And I pray that everyone sees it as like a new beginning for themselves.
I learned about Yellowstone. I learned about the geysers there. I learned about the lifestyle that they have here, the cowboy culture, how much that means to them, horses, horseback riding. So I learned a lot of things about Wyoming and Native Americans. I'd say my favorite part was whitewater rafting, something I hadn't done, and it was really exciting, like just going over the rapids and just being scared a bit when you see it, and then you go down, you plunge into it, and you come right back up. I really enjoyed that.
Favorite part was getting to know everybody and experiencing the things that I never experienced before in my life. Getting to go to places I never went to before, learning about everybody, and just connecting with the world, I guess.
I found a new part of myself that I think I lost a long time ago, and I'm happy he's back. So that's been my favorite part about this trip.
Right now, at this moment in history, we are all sort of trapped in our own ideas of self that have to do with who we associate with, what we dream for ourselves, what we see right in front of us. And so underpinning this trip was this idea that if we lift ourselves out of our geography, if we lift ourselves out of interacting with just folks that look like us, and we get into the chemistry of that in-between space, between culture and between ethnicities and between geographies and ideas, that we might all transform and come out the other side different. There are really 4 partners, well maybe there are 5, that are involved in this process. The first is the Skillman Foundation, and we give grants away that focus on the city of Detroit and Detroit children and youth, and we have this powerful youth council. The second is Art of Culture. They do youth voice development and investment. The third is Chrysalis, which is a Wyoming-based center for young people. It is a rehabilitation center that brings young people in and helps them face their addiction and come out stronger. The fourth partner is Amy and Chris, and they are ranch owners in Wyoming who turned their home and their hearts over to us for a week. And the fifth partner is the city of Cody, Wyoming, that actually showed up and showed out and was the backdrop of our adventure.
It's a very intricate place, you know, it kind of catches you off guard as far as the culture is concerned, because the people are very nicer than I expected. Everyone is disarming. A lot of times when I go into spaces, I kind of keep a guard up because I don't know how people might perceive me. But as the week went along at Wyoming, I started to let my guard down a little bit more and actually take advantage of what was in front of me.
At Art of Culture, we believe that everyone has an artist inside of them. Everyone has a gift inside of them. So what we aim to do is to share the traditions of our communities and to share the beauty of our cultures through art, whether personal art or communal art.
There were 3 core principles behind the design of our retreat: nature, culture, and community. As an example, on day 1, that's where we built the foundation and spent time learning about the culture, the Wild Wild West, to learn about cowboy culture, and of course to dive deeper into Native Indigenous culture. We went to the Native American Medicine Wheel in Big Horn Mountains. We had a concert with hip-hop artist Superman, and we took everyone out into the nature. We hiked mountains. We went to waterfalls. We spent a day at Yellowstone National Park. Through the course of the week, we all formed family and ultimately formed community.
When we first started out looking at doing the summer retreat with the Skillman Foundation, to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be something to the effect of, let's just bring a group out from Detroit. Let's show them the Wild Wild West. Let's bring your group along too, just so that we can have some good interaction. The retreat quickly turned into one of mentorship for our young folks. Our students were very much embraced and respected and heard, that they were able to tell their story in a safe place, that they were able to communicate and build those relationships with people that they had just recently met, but in a very quick amount of time were able to build that relationship and that friendship and feel safe to be able to express who they were and what they were going through. But each day they woke up with the energy of, I want to do this, I am growing, this is good for me. Each night before they went to bed, they would share their excitement, their experiences, what they learned, what they talked about. Research will show you that these students, if they could just get one adult peer to show interest and to support them, that can mean the difference for them in their sobriety and in their mental health and everything they're trying to accomplish.
I think my favorite part was just being around the Skillmen. Like, their attitude and just vibes and energy is just very, very positive, you know? So I feel like that was the biggest thing for me because I need that in my life, you know?
What I learned about the other group is that, like, even though, like, they're from, like, big cities and stuff, like, we can, like, still do good, like, even though, because, like, most of us younger ones are in addictions right now. Like, we can get out of our addictions and, like, strive.
One thing I learned about myself on this retreat was you can have, like, fun, you know, without using drugs, I guess. And basically it's not like be afraid to talk to people, you know.
See this experience helping me in my future by helping me get out there more, helping me be like just more like observant and more like helping other people.
Everybody has a struggle, but you always can make it through.
I learned that they are some very smart kids and they ask some very sophisticated questions.
The one thing that I learned during this culture exchange is how resilient the Chrysalis kids are. Many of them were put into situations that they had no control over, and still they make the best of it with a smile on their face. Listening to rap music, you know. I came here with so many things on my mind and burdens on my back, but just watch them while going through everything that they're going through and still have a smile on their face. You just can't leave here without feeling some type of hope, you know, for not only my community back in Detroit, but the youth here today.
From our conversations, a lot of them are high school age, and they're like, I want to get to college, I want to seek this job. And all of them had the intention, I want to come back to my community and make an impact. And those are same visions that I hear in Detroit from our voices or as kids growing up in Detroit. So I think that was my takeaway. We're more similar than not.
I just kind of thought it was like the relationship with the Skillmen, you know, and the camera crew was going to be superficial. I never thought it was going to get into a deeper level, but it did, you know, kind of made me realize, like, hey, give people chances, you know, because I'm one to not really let people into my life.
So coming to Wyoming definitely helps me be more open and have a different perspective in my future. A lot of times I go into situations, I go into places with one set mind, and just to be more open-minded and understand that there are different perspectives around Earth and just around anything, you know, and just to always really humble myself and become a better servant, become a better son, a better brother, a better friend, just an overall better me.
People are more similar than they are different. And while this environment is completely different from Detroit or from even the reservation where a lot of the kids from Chrysalis come from, that there can be common ground found and people can actually enjoy each other.
I think we all thought Wyoming was this place where people like us would, if we came at, we wouldn't be welcomed and we would have a hard time just being here. But I think overall it changed a bit more perception of what we had of Wyoming. Like, they're very welcoming people in different cultures, and folks opened up their ranch, had conversations, were willing to talk to us about it.
At Skillmen, our work is fundamentally about Detroit young people. And there are ways that we believe we can invest in young people here to have a passport to the vision, the future that they dream for themselves. Some of that is in the community around them, investing in that. Some of that is in the classroom, investing in that. And those are all critical pieces. But I think if you ask any single person alive what some of the most transformational experiences are that helped you see a different future, it would be travel. And there's no way around it. travel is one of the best educations you can get.
I learned that I'm tiny. I'm a little speck in this tiny world, and I need to make the most out of that. I have such a short time on this earth, if you think about it. So I need to capitalize on the time I have here.
Definitely by wanting to travel more. You know, not just kind of do one thing for the rest of my life, but expand on it. By that, I don't mean like hobbies or, you know, like activities, like just expand on my knowledge, you know, be more open-minded, open my heart to more new people, you know, and learn about other cultures.
No, I just think this has been the best thing in my life that has ever happened.
I mean, I hope more opportunities are afforded to more youth like me to do something like this, because this was life-changing for me, quite honestly. Yeah.
I'm for real being a vlogger right now. Gatorade. It's gonna be like for the memories. Like, hopefully we could have this tape, Gatorade. Like when you and me are out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then we could be like, dang, remember this day? Remember what's up? Is it wrong? Hey, Future Andy. Yeah. Hey, Future. Sheesh.
So I'm going to just read to you, I guess, what I would call a love note to all of our friends at Chrysalis. So this is to our Chrysalis family. You have no idea how much we miss you. We talk about it all the time. In only 1 week, each of you have made a home for yourselves in our hearts, and we are not complete without your faces, your ideas, your smiles, your sly jokes, you know who I'm talking about, silences, and reflections. Please accept what we send to you, our care package, as a gift of love that's coming from us in Detroit as an extension of ourselves. We're sending our favorite Detroit gear to you as a way of saying, we love you. You're here with us. We are there with you. We're also hoping you now see Detroit as we see it, as a place of hustle and grit, of visionaries and everyday heroes. The stories people hear about Detroit are often of what we lack, what knocked us down. But the real story is how we get up and keep getting up and have our eyes trained in the distance, far beyond where most people can see. When you rep the D, you rep hard work, fighting not just for yourself, but for your city or your space, your family, and fighting for your people. And whether you wear the gear or not, you are now carrying us tattooed on your hearts as well. We are holding space in our futures for each of you. And we cannot wait to meet up again and share stories and ideas. Each of you taught us so much, and we are your biggest fans. Life is Beauty, Angelique, and the Skillman Foundation.
No, that's so sweet. Awesome. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.